Good morning, hello everyone, welcome back, a new tutorial. I'm going to show you on site what I'm going to paint today. Now it's very early in the morning. I'm down here at the River Lee in Cork City, and this is the centre of Cork City. Now this would be a fantastic focal point for painting and for fishing. It's a lovely amenity park, and I would have come here when I was young, fishing with my friends and whatnot. So I'm going to swing the camera around and show you what I might paint in this lesson, and it's a lovely panoramic view. So let's have a look, guys. So that's the old waterworks there. I was going to paint this scene. It's a very, very nice scene with some buildings, some greenery, some lovely reflections as well. And we can see the weir where the water's coming over there, and the very old building up there on the top. It's one of the longest buildings in Ireland, I think. It's been converted into apartments recently. But yeah, that's what I was thinking. So you can see the old waterworks across the way, and this is a panoramic view of the River Lee. And it's a lovely, lovely spot for painting. In the summertime I might come here and do some plein air painting actually. Might be a good idea, wouldn't it? So I'm going to do a nice painting of this. Now I'll take some photographs close up of that water as well coming down. Just to get some different perspectives on it. And but I think that would make it quite a nice painting, guys. A nice Cork City painting with that big tower right in the middle there, popping up, and it's a lovely view. So I'm going to take some snaps, and we shall go back to the studio and see what we can do with this. How's that sound? See you soon, guys. So that was nice, guys, wasn't it? A nice view there of the River Lee. Now I took a photograph and I printed it out so I can see the colours properly this time. That's much better, isn't it? That's a much better photograph. So we're going to paint that this week, and it'll probably be a two-part series. We'll do the sky maybe in some of the buildings, and then we'll finish off with the front buildings and the reflections in the second part. Sound good? So I have a nice big canvas in front of me here. It's 700 by 500, so 700 wide by 500. I gave this 2 coats of primer. Okay, nice smooth primer. It's just a homemade primer. So it just takes the edge off of the canvas, and it makes the paint is flowy much better on the canvas. It's nice and smooth. You can, if you like, give it a rub of some linseed oil. That would help move the paint around as well. I have a little palette here next to me. I'm not going to be able to show you the palette at the same time, I don't think, because it's such a big canvas. I just cannot get everything into the frame of the video, because I want you to see the details. I want you to see properly what I'm doing with the sky and the clouds. I don't want you to be too far back. So I might try it. If it doesn't kind of look okay on camera, I will just zoom in on the painting, basically. But I will explain to you in detail what I'm doing and how I'm mixing and how I'm cleaning my brush as I go. Alright? So I have my colours here. One new addition. It is something I had in my box for a long time. Naples crimson. Okay? Can you see that? And it's a very dirty tube, I know. But I've had this in my box for about 7 or 8 years, maybe 10 years. And it's a nice alternative to crimson. The alizarin crimson. It's more on the red side of crimson, so I'm going to use that today with cadmium red. Give us a nice choice of reds. So that's that. Little jar of turpentine. I have plenty of tissue and a selection of brushes. Okay, lots of different shapes and sizes, but mostly flat. Okay, look, nice flat brushes, synthetic, nice cheap cheerful brushes. I also have blender brush for blending soft colours together, and a couple of fan brushes. That's it, and that's a huge selection now for me. That's a huge choice. So that's the brushes, guys. Also turpentine, normal regular turpentine. Let's see, that's it. I have a photograph stuck on here. You should see it on your screen now. I'm going to put it on your screen just so you can see it. And you can see there's, now on the top of the building there, the roof is gone because there was a fire there recently and the building was burnt down almost entirely. I might put the roof back on. We'll give it a lease of life, will we? Let's put a nice shiny new roof back onto the building, and we will leave those bottom windows open as well, so as if there's glass in them rather than just plywood. So we're bringing the building back to life. So we're going to be putting some nice, now the greens in this photograph are very kind of subdued, very, now it's kind of a wintry scene, so there's no leaves, there's no foliage, but I'm going to put some nice foliage into the painting to brighten it up a little bit. And also we'll make the reflections a little bit more pronounced. And you can see the little weir just on the left hand side, the water kind of falling over. That'll be nice. So we're going to try this one this week, guys. Let's have a go. So I'm going to mount the camera up overhead here, and let's start with the sky. I'm thinking now a nice subtle sky, nothing too in your face, just a nice subtle sky, because we have a lot of detail going on in the rest of the painting, so I don't want to overpower the sky. Just a nice simple sky with some little white crisp clouds floating across. So let's put it up there overhead, and let's have a go off of this. Again, thank you very much for your support. By the way, guys, there are lots of other tutorials now on the Patreon page if you want to go and take a look at that as well. There are some really good in-depth tutorials on that that you might like. I did one of the skelligs, turned out very well. We did a little beach scene, so there's a few there that you might like as well, so have a look, see what you think. Thank you very much for supporting me. So let's go, let's have a bit of fun with this. So I'm going to start with the drawing, okay guys? Very, very quick sketch. And let me just find the pencil here now. I have, I'm very, very bad stocked for pencils. I have tons of brushes, but I have a few pencils. That makes sense, doesn't it? Okay, right. Let's just do a very rough sketch of the building across the top here. So I'm just, now there's a lot of ups and downs on this, but I'm just going to go straight across. Look, not even straight, I'm not worried. Now it's about 3/4 of the way up, isn't it? I'm going to come down slightly lower now than the photograph, because the photograph, it's kind of quite high on the photograph, isn't it? So I'm just going to come down a little bit lower, just a tad. And I'm going to put this in, this very dark shadowy area there. And we have another building off here. Kind of disappears out of the picture, doesn't it? So that's that one. I'm going to come across here for the ground. Bring that right across there. I'm just being very, very rough and very loose with this. And it comes down, let's say around here. I'm not going to make this as big as it is on the photograph, guys, because I don't want this dominating the painting too much. So let me just come across now with this roof across here. There's a section there where it kind of comes out a little bit. Now this will probably be the most complicated part of the painting, to be honest. Around there, and then there's a little bit in the center here with a little point. Now I know the roof is slightly higher on that, but look, let's just do it like this. Okay, that will make life a little easier, I think. And let's continue that right across just for now. So we're going to have the roof coming up on both sides like this. It's difficult trying to imagine what the roof is going to look like when there's no roof on it. But look, we'll get there. Now it almost comes up and out, doesn't it? There we are. I'm just being very, very quick now with this, okay? I'm not worrying about all the little details at all. I'm just doing a very quick sketch. Now, it comes across, it's a little bit of trees there. There's another building here on this side, isn't there? And that's a little house up there in the distance. I'm sure they'll appreciate their house being painted, won't they? And let's put a little hedging in front of that. And then we've all trees up there like so. We have kind of a row of hedges coming down like this at an angle, but we don't need to put all this detail in here, okay? We only need to keep this nice and simple. Now this is kind of a grassy verge here, and there's a big wall which kind of goes along there with lots of these little, I don't know what to call them, pillars, all the way along like that. Now the important part really is this tower in the centre here. I'm not worried about it now because I'm going to be painting over the sky and I don't want to be going around that or through it, so I'm going to paint that in later. So it comes up here between the two of these, doesn't it? And it comes down around here and down like that. And let's just cap that off at the end, close it off, and we have a little shadow on that. And then we have this building here. Okay, which I'm going to go up a bit higher with this roof now on this, because I want to leave plenty of reflection. I want to leave plenty there for the reflections. And I'm going to come across like that, and up like this. And let's just put this in very, very loosely. Okay, then I'm going to cut across about a third of the way up. There's a lot of detail in this, isn't there? Lots and lots of detail. So we can take our time with this. And then we have kind of a wall in front here where there's all kind of bushes and stuff just at the river's edge. Now that will need to be a bit bigger, I can see that. Yeah, but I can make it bigger as I need to, okay? Let's not worry about that for now. You see, we can adjust as we go. And this needs to be a bit bigger as well. Now we have a little wall in behind that. And there's kind of bushes and walls and all sorts of things. And I'm going to come down here now with the reflection line. The wire falls over like this. And it cuts straight across. Like so. Now we have a big building here, don't we? This is a nice big building, isn't it? A nice bright point of light on the front of that. Then down this side. And it comes across almost straight. We go straight. And bring the roof at the same angle, so the roof at the same angle top and bottom. Remember that. And then there's a little extension which comes off of that. And this is all very, very loose now, don't forget, very loose work. I'm just taking my time. And we have another one up over that. Okay. And that's pretty much all we need to do. Okay, that'll do fine. Painting, onto the painting. So, I want a nice bright blue sky now for this, guys. Nice bright blue sky. Now I may even bring this down a little bit more. I don't know, I'll see as I'm going. That's the joy of painting, you can change things as you go. I'm going to take my big bring brush and I'm going to dampen it slightly and then dry it on your tissue so it's damp, it's moist. Let's take some white. I don't know if you can see that properly there now. And I'm going to take some cobalt blue and we have a nice bright blue. Okay, nice bright blue sky. I'm taking plenty of white into this now. If this feels a bit too wet, add some white to it. That will help thicken it up. And right across the canvas with that colour. Let's take some more cobalt. Let's make it a bit more blue. Yes? Make it nice and rich. It's a bright summer's day in the River Lee. There we go. So pull that right down. Let's make it a little bit stronger on top. I think you could benefit from that, and perhaps a touch of Naples yellow as well. There we are, just a touch, just to warm the blue very, very, very slightly. So there we go. Now I'm going to start adding more white into that mix. So I want to start getting lighter and lighter as it comes down. So keep going with this, light blue all the way down, and I'm going to even go over this roof. Okay, there we are. Go right over that roof. And I want to bring a little bit of warmth into the sky. I know on the photograph it's just everything is just a blue, but I want to bring some warmth into the painting. So I'm going to add a touch of cadmium red, and I'm going to blend that in just along the end, so that then is mixing with the blue and it's going nice mauve, light and dark mauve all the way across. So let's keep going with this. Now the consistency can be tricky to get right. It's not too wet, but it's not thick dry paint either. It can be a little tricky. It's quite difficult to explain because I've my canvases well primed here, so it can be difficult to explain. So my canvases are probably different to your canvases. Now let's take some blue and a touch of cadmium red in there. Ooh, that's a strong colour, isn't it? That packs a punch. Let's take some more white and let's put a little bit of red across it just here. A little bit of pink. Just want to warm it up slightly. Ever so slightly, that's all. And big broad brush strokes then right across the picture. It's a bit warmer now already, isn't it? Now you can make it even warmer by just taking a dry brush, and let's take some Naples yellow, and let's find the clean part of our palette down here. Okay, Naples yellow, some white, and take a touch of that crimson a colour there, that natal red. Okay, so we have a warm a sunsetty tone going through there now as well. I'm just going to blend that in just on one side here. And that just adds a little bit of warmth into it, doesn't it? Okay, and just leave it at that for now. Okay, I think I'll go up and put some clouds in. But what I'll do first is I'll soften this. So I'm taking a nice soft brush, makeup brush again as usual, and soften all of this now together very gently. Now you see, that's a nice soft colour, isn't it? Everything blending nicely together. Right all the way along, left and right. And that's the basis of our sky done. Yep, I'd be happy enough with that. Now there is little bits of stronger blue creeping through. I can see on the photographs it's stronger blue creeping through here and there. But I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm going to start putting some nice bright whitey clouds now up there, and maybe a hint of shadow here and there as well. So this is a nice tutorial now for skies. This section, we're going to be taking our time concentrating on the sky. So I'm taking another brush, this brush here. It's only slightly damp again. In fact, I'd even dry it completely. So now, it's completely dry. I'm giving this a good scrape on my tissue now, and it's completely dry. So what I'm going to do next is take some white and put some clean white on my palette. And I'm going to dip into that, load your brush up with that colour, and I'm going to start putting some cloud on this. Now I'm thinking some nice kind of big puffy clouds. What do you think? I can do these big puffy ones, or I could do small kind of ones. I'm thinking about the rest of the painting. You see, I don't want to overpower the rest of the painting. So with that in mind, I think we put in some nice puffy ones. Now the light is coming from the right hand side. Okay, you can see on the photograph, it's hitting the right hand side of everything. So the shadow is on the left, which means I'm going to put the light, the bright hand side of the cloud, on the right here. So I'm just pulling my brush on and I'm flicking it around in circular motions. You see? That's all I'm doing. Up and down, and messing around with the brush. And you can see it's picking up the colour underneath, and it's creating different shades, isn't it? So that's how easy it is. Just pick up some white. I'll do a few again from scratch. Pick up some white and circular motions. Okay? And it's just about getting the shape of the cloud right, making them nice and sort of puffy. Okay, and you can even join them up slightly if you want. You see? And I will keep building on this now until I get what I want. I'm persistent. Us Cork people are very persistent. We get what we want. No, I'm only joking. Let's go in again. And these blade brushes are very handy for this because it gives a very rough edge. So I'm cleaning my brush out every time I do this, to keep the colour nice and bright and clean. I'm going to put another one down the end here, just underneath that. And this one is almost straight across. So it's giving some depth. See, it's going off into the distance. And it's giving a lot more depth, isn't it? And let's keep going, quite nice. I like that. I will put one up here, kind of coming down, and give it a wiggle. Okay, like that, and that creates a little more distance as well, doesn't it? Just takes a bit of practice, guys, but you'll get there, don't worry. Just keep trying. And let's see now, let's put another one here. Alright, like so. And each time I do one now, guys, I'm kind of sitting back and taking a good look, because I want to get this just right. I don't want to overpower it, but I want to make it nice as well. Another one up here, let's say. So let's put a bright one. Now we have some nice dark trees here, so I'm going to put a nice bright one in behind those trees. Okay, you see, just like so. And in fact, what you can even do as well is you could take some of that Naples yellow colour that we took. So a little Naples yellow with the Natal crimson or cadmium red, whichever you like. And you could take some of that colour and put some of that along the top of the cloud as well, as you see. So it's creating lovely warmth on the top of the cloud. The sun is kind of catching the cloud. Does that make sense? I hope you can see that now all right, guys, on your screen. I might zoom in a minute and give you a better picture of what I'm doing. In fact, I will. I'll do that right now. Okay? Let's zoom in on this. Now, there we are. That a bit better. So you can see now much better what I'm doing. Does that make sense? Okay, let's continue on with some cloud. I'm going to take some more white and I'm going to put a cloud in here, coming through this way for a change. Okay, and another one up high, coming down into the painting again. So now we're getting some real distance in our painting, aren't we? Some perspective, let's call it. You see, and these mixes now are quite thin compared to what you might see in a normal oil painting. These are quite thin. I'm going to build up thicker layers as I need to. I'm not kind of going in there with thick paint straight away. I'm doing it nice and slowly. All right. Now I think they benefit maybe from a bit of shadow. Now let me just put one little one just across there in the distance before I move to shadows. Okay, there we are. Now shadows. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush and I'll switch to this one. Okay, nice flat brush, nice and small, and I'm going to mix up a little shadow colour now for this. So for that, what I might do actually is I might take my palette and put it down here in front of me, so you can see what I'm mixing, okay? Just for the sky. Does that make sense? Right, I'm going to take some, let's see, some cobalt blue. Okay, a little bit of cobalt. Let's try some of that crimson. Let's take a touch of, let me see now. Let's take a touch of burnt umber. And let's see now what kind of a shadow colour we can get from that. And I've only used now, guys, a dry brush. I haven't wet the brush at all. So let's see what happens. Okay. Right, let's try here. And again, circular motions, only on the left hand side of the cloud, because it's in shadow down on the left hand side of the cloud, you see. I'm just giving it little flicks, just with the very tip of the brush. Okay, and I'm going to work it slowly up into the white, thus creating different shades, you see. Now how does that look? That's not half bad now, is it? I might take a touch more brown, just a touch, and let's put a little bit down under here and there. Okay, it's nice, rich. It's a kind of a warm grey, isn't it? I don't want to go for cool colours because it's quite warm. So I want to give it a nice warm shade of shadow. Does that make sense? And let's soften it across underneath. And I know I said at the beginning I wanted to keep the sky nice and simple, and I could have kept it nice and simple with just some white clouds, but I think since it's such a big painting it might be nice to go into a bit more detail for you guys. Now a little bit along here, okay, just at the back of that, like so, and let's put a little bit just along the back of that one. Okay, and I suppose we could put a little bit just along the backs of these ones here as well. Okay, like so. I won't overdo it now, just a little, maybe a little bit just along there. So I'm going to make these now slightly darker. I'm going to add some blue to that. So a little bit of blue, a little bit of that crimson, and let's put a slightly bluer shade just here and there, okay, just under those. And put your brush down and then take your soft brush, your soft blender brush, and I'm going to pull that white across into the brown, you see, very, very gently. So So it's then picking up the colours and it's mixing them together on the canvas, you see. Isn't that nice? And it disappears then almost into the blue sky, doesn't it, you see? Now, and that's one quite nice cloud, isn't it? Let's do the same with these. So I'm going to pull the white down, soften it into the dark shadow, and then sort of blend them both together. But I'm not getting rid of all the brush strokes, I'm leaving some of the brush strokes there. You see? I'm just very lightly dragging the very tip of my brush over the paint. And that's the beauty of these soft brushes. And let's do the same with this. I'm just going to soften those ones in there just gently now. I don't want to lose it completely. Okay, there we go. And let's do the same with these. Very soft. So that's our basic sky kind of complete, just for now. I might go back and add some highlights to the clouds. I might do it now actually. I don't see why we could not. So I'm going to stand back and have a quick look at this. Yeah, that's not too bad. That's a nice, easy, simple sky for you to try. So I'm going to take another flat brush and take this one here. Okay, another simple splayed brush. And I'm going to pick up some white. Just white now on its own, guys. Load your brush with some white. I must get some white again, the white is gone. Let's put some out there. And I used to go fishing here when I was small all the time. I used to love this place. Beautiful spot for fishing. I have many happy memories coming down around the Lee, the River Lee. Now I'm just dabbing some white around the bright side of the cloud. And that's just going to catch more light for us, isn't it? You see? And you could even cut through the shadow with a little bit. And that will then push the shadow back. You see? And that gives you an extra kind of an extra dimension to the cloud. And painting clouds can be tricky. I suppose in one sense less is more. But it's nice to give it a bit of detail as well every now and again, if you know what I mean. And let's put a little bit along there, like that. You see? It's quite nice, doesn't it? And these brushes are fantastic for this kind of work. Because they're very random. And these are old brushes now, guys. These are brushes I might have had these for 2 years. And they're still going. And they're only cheap 3 or 4 quid brushes. They're not expensive by any means. So there we are. And let's put a little up here. Just work it in here and there. You see? Twisting the brush as you go. And I think it's safe to say that's our sky finished. A nice simple sky finish, guys. What do you think of that? Yeah, looks pretty good, doesn't it? Now, the tone of this will determine the rest of the painting as well. So, I'm going to have to complement colours slightly. Does that make sense? So you see, this building here, now I'm going to do this next. And I want to complement it very, very slightly. So I'm not going to do a completely opposite colour. It's kind of a browny red, isn't it? It's like a bright reddy brown. Terracotta colour, we'll say. So I'm going to put that in now. And colours. I'm thinking about colours now for this. So we could take some cadmium red. So let's take a bit of cadmium red. And we could try some burnt umber. Okay. And let's take a little dollop of white with that, just a small bit. And let's try some Naples yellow. And that's still a bit brown, so let's add more red into that. See, I'm keeping this, I'm going to make it slightly darker rather than brighter. I know it's kind of quite dark here on one of these photographs. It's quite dark, but I want to keep it on the bright side. I might even take a touch of burnt sienna. That might help. Okay, so let's try this now and see. Nice thick paint on the brush, loads of thick paint. And that's a bit, it's a bit pinky for me. So I think perhaps a little more red, a little more burnt sienna. And let's take a look at this. You see, I want to create some depth. I want to create some depth in this painting, so I don't want to have rich colours too close to us. Does that make sense? Let's try a bit of cadmium yellow and a touch more red. Okay, let's just try it, see what happens. I think that's a bit better. So I think I'll go with this for now. And we can add to it, if you want to make it lighter or darker, we can add to it as we go. There's no pressure with this. So let's say that now. I'm going to touch more white into that. I do want this to be kind of off up in the distance. And let's paint right across that middle section as well. And we're going to work on highlights and lowlights then in a minute. So, tiny drop of turps. And take a touch of cadmium yellow into that. With a touch more red. And getting colours right can be tricky with this type of work, with buildings especially. Getting that colour just right can be quite tricky. But just take your time and experiment with the colour. Now, so I'm just filling in the building as I go. And let's put in the gable end here. Okay, more colour. So let's take some Naples yellow, cadmium red, burnt sienna. Let's try a bit of that. There we are. Nice thick paint on the canvas. Right, okay, looking good. As long as we're straight across the top, that's the main thing. Alright. I won't worry too much about the end, we can fix all of that. So now I want to start creating some contrast. Just a little bit of light on the building, so I'm just wiping my brush and I'm going to go into some Naples yellow and a touch of white, and on these sides, on the right hand sides, I'm just going to make it slightly lighter, okay? And I'm going to soften it in then. Now, it is very wet, isn't it? So, I'm basically just creating some texture on the building, that's all. Naples yellow and a bit of white, and I'll do the same with this side here. Okay. And I'll do the same with this side over here. And you see, then we have a strong dark, don't we? So with a nice flat brush, I'm going to start putting in some darker tones on this. And for the dark tones, I'm going to take some burnt umber with some, let me see now. In fact, you know what we will do? We won't scrap that. You see, we're changing as we go, changing our minds. Let's take a bit of cobalt And let's take a bit of cadmium red. I'm going to keep it more on the red side. And let's put some nice shadow in. Down this side here. Because this front section here is casting a shadow across that building, isn't it? There we go. And soften it in. Okay. And let's do the same at this side. And soften it in. And then right in where the deep shadow is, let's take a tiny bit of black. And just right down at the end here, it's going to get really strong. You see? So that's how I would generally paint shadows on a building. Now we're starting to get the 3D effect, aren't we? So with this brush, I'm going to clean this brush because it's a nice flat pointy edge on the brush. You see, it's nice and pointy and flat, which is what we want. So I'm now going to start putting some light on the light side of the building. So I'm just adding a little bit of white to that brighter colour because it's quite yellow, isn't it? And I'm just going to come down and paint. That's the side of one of them. Okay. Now you could probably use your flat brush or your little pointy brush for this as well. Let's try that. I just want to try lots of different brushes and see what happens. There we go. It's a bit a little easier, isn't it? And it's great fun painting these types of paintings that you can really take your time and there's lots of detail in them. It's really, really fun. Because you can take your time and you can learn new things as you go. You see. And then we have a slightly darker side. Now you would imagine that you'd make the darker side similar to the shadow. And it would be. But I want the shadow on the darker side to kind of stand out separately. So I'm just putting some brown. Some burnt umber on this side here. Okay, like so, and the same here. I'm just painting the separate sections, that's all I'm doing. And then what we can do with this brush, let's put some of that roof up. In fact, we lose this brush here and we put that roof on. And the roof will make it more lifelike, won't it? So let's take some blue and some black, and let's take a touch of white. And a nice dark grey roof now on this. So I'll go along, paint the outline of it like this. Just makes life easier. Okay. And let's go along and paint on the roof. And you can see I'm pulling the roof down in the direction of the slates. So the slates are falling at that kind of an angle. So I'll pull it in that type of an angle like this, you see? The slope. Just like so. See? Does that make sense? Now paint right over this one here. We'll fix this with the pointy brush in a minute. Let's just get the main roof now painted. And it's picking up some of the terracotta and the pink, you see it? And that looks lovely. It really complements the roof. And the fact that it's picking up some of the sky colour as well is creating its own tones, different tones, highlights and lowlights on the roof itself, and that's fantastic. That's what you want. Now I'm just going to take a little bit of black, tiny bit of blue. I'm just going to start adding a little contrast in just behind where that front roof casts a shadow on the back main roof, okay? Does that make sense? You see what I mean? It just creates nice contrast. And we could put a bit of shadow in just here and there on the roof as well. And let's take the pointy brush. I'm going to make a slightly lighter grey for the front of these sections here, you see. So I'm just going to put a lighter grey across there and a lighter grey up here. Now it's still not light enough, and I'm only using the photograph now, guys, as a reference. I'm not copying that photograph exactly. It's just more for the drawing side of things really than anything else, because I want to put my own mark on it, you see. I want to make it my own, and it doesn't have to be perfect at all. So let's paint the dark side of it there, and let's go along under the eave and give it a bit of shadow as well. Okay, this is all helping. Don't be afraid, just go for it. You see, just give it a shot. If you make a mess of it, you can go back over it again. Don't worry, guys, honestly. And let's put a bit of shadow under the roof here, so we can suggest the guttering, that type of thing. And just here then. Okay. So how's that looking now, guys? That's looking quite nice, isn't it? Now, let's just make it slightly higher. There we are. That's a bit better, isn't it? So now we have, let's do one or two chimneys in that, shall we? Now I know the terracotta kind of comes up at a point in the middle here, and look, we can do that if you want. So it comes up at a kind of a point, doesn't it? And you can, by all means, do it like that. You see? And let's put a little, just a little highlight on the front of that, just to show that off. We have little chimneys, don't we? So I'm going to mix up a little colour for those chimneys. Burnt sienna, cadmium red. And let's put a chimney in here. And let's put another one here. There's one or two off in the distance up here, isn't there? You can just kind of make out the tips of them here and there. As I said again before, it doesn't have to be absolutely spot on. We put another one at the end here. And let's put one or two in the distance here as well. Now, let's put a bit of dark on them. So, burnt umber. Just a little tiny bit of burnt umber just along the edges of those, on the dark side. Okay. And a couple of caps, bridge caps or chimney caps. Just like that. Now we do have, I'm really going for detail here now in this painting. A little bit of light on the wall on the top there. And then we have a little dark shadow, don't we? There we go. So now, guys, Are we getting there with that? I think we are, aren't we? Let's put in some windows, will we? Now, it's just full of windows, isn't it? God above, we'll be here for another 2 hours painting the windows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there's 4 rows. Oh, lads. Lads. Let's take a bit of brown and a bit of black. Let's take a bit of cobalt blue as well. Right. Let's just keep this very loose. So we have 1, 2, 1, 2. Then we have 1. Then we have 1. I'm not even keeping these now, guys, in the same area. It's just, it would take you forever to try and get these exactly right, wouldn't it? And then we have another one here. Another one here. Then another 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. So let's do the same underneath. Now we're not going to do them as they are in the photograph. I don't think we need to. Check, now we're missing one here, are we? Yeah, let's put another one here. And they're not even straight, guys, they're just squiggly lines, really. And a couple more underneath. Two. See, let's just keep it simple. I'm thinking simplicity all the time when I'm doing this. Okay? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And it's just suggest 1 at the sides. I'm not going to try and paint 2 in at the sides because that would just make it impossible. So, just keeping it simple. Okay, the same all the way across. 2, 1, 2, 2. And let's add a little bit of blue to that. My God, that's a lot of windows, isn't it? There we go. 1, 2. Oh, I made a mistake there. That's alright. It'll be covered. And let's go here. 2. You see? Little mistake we didn't even notice. And I'm going to be concentrating into a lot of detail on this painting for you guys, okay? So bear with me. And I really want to do it nice. So that's why I was saying it might be a 2-part painting. And I'm glad you can follow me along. And go on this journey together, shall we say. There. So I'm just going to leave it at that now and keep it simple. There is little areas where, let's see, they separate, so there's little lines, isn't it? Little kind of a yellowy line. So let's take a little bit of Naples yellow and let's just separate some of those sections, just some. A little bit of Naples yellow. It's just a suggestion, that's all. In fact, you could even use a knife for this as well if you wanted a really finer line. But all these little details help. Okay? It's just small little suggestions, that's all. Very, very small suggestions. Let's see, there is some yellow just on some of the tops of the windows, so let's put a hint of that in. You see, I'm just going along putting little dabs here and there. It's just, everything I do is just a suggestion. I'm not trying to paint actual windows with little window panes and all this kind of thing, because that would just be impossible, wouldn't it? Well, it would be possible, but unless you want the video to go on for like 10 lessons, it's possible, but no, you see, it's just a suggestion, just here and there. It just adds a little bit of interest into the painting, I think, doesn't it? Now, I do want to put a little bit of Naples yellow just along, just here and there, just to bring those chimneys out just a little bit more. Okay, just like so. And last but not least on this building, a little bit of white, tiny bit of white, and just come down here and there on the left hand side of those windows with just a little dab of white. And again, only here and there, you see? I'm not doing every single one. And when you stand back, you can see that they are a nice little building off in the distance. I forgot to put some windows on this one here. There we are, nice and simple. It's a nice impression of the building up in the distance. And I kept it nice and simple. I didn't go into too much detail with it. We do have a little outbuilding coming off of that, so just a little black and a bit of brown. Let's put that in. Okay, and there we are, nice and simple. And let's even take a bit of white with some blue and add some of that in there, make it a bit more in shadow, give it a bit of depth. It comes up higher, doesn't it? So you can see now, guys, it's just about keeping everything simple. For me anyhow, that's how I like to work. I like to just keep things simple. Now, as I have this colour on my brush, I'm going to put this little roof in here, just to the left on the painting. And then I just take my other brush with that colour that I have on it, that terracotta kind of a colour, and I'm painting this building here. There we go. Nice and quick. And then we have some more windows on that as well, don't we? So we have one in the centre, and we have one outside here, and we have two on that side. We have a little black door, but let's just keep that same as the rest of them. And then take a little white and come down here with that white. Nice and easy. Bob's your uncle. Isn't that what they say? No. Done. So we have another building done, guys. So you can see now I wanted to make the colour slightly paler. I just wanted to kind of push it off into the distance a little bit. Do you understand? So I think I might just get this house in here and some of these trees, and maybe get some of this wall done perhaps. So yeah, let's do that. So let's take some of that nice grey mix, just make it a bit more bluey this time for that roof. And let's go over now and paint that roof on this house. And there we go, let's pull it down like this. And I hope you don't mind me now, guys, painting a building kind of a scene this time. But this is a lovely part of Cork that I wanted to paint for so long. So I said, look, let's try it. Let's just try it and give it a go. So what's the worst that can happen, huh? And now it's kind of two separate houses, isn't it? I'm going to take a tiny bit of yellow and mix it in there and separate the roofs with that slightly different colour. I might give it a bit of darker actually, just along here. And then quick clean in the turpentine, wash your brush and give it a quick clean, good dry on the tissue. And let's get some of this yellow with plenty of that white. And let's put these in here at the front of the house. Like so. Just put it straight down. And it's already creating its own texture, isn't it? Then I want to take the smaller pointy brush and I want to give that some shadow. So I'm going to take for that some burnt umber, a little bit of Naples yellow, and let's give that a little bit of shadow there. Oh, there we go, scrape that in there. And I'm softening slightly into the white colour, you see? So there's no hard edge, it's kind of slowly going from one to the other. Does that make sense? And we're going to need a chimney up there, aren't we? So let's put a chimney there, and we'll put one in the centre and one on the side. And then take a touch of lamp black and give that some shade. Like so. And I like keeping things nice and simple, you see. I don't like to go into kind of far too much detail with things. Even that now was a lot of detail, I'll admit. But in general, I like to keep things very simple and easy to follow. That's what I'll say. So I hope you can follow me along now and you're not getting confused with a lot of the stuff that I'm saying. So I'm just going to make this very loose, okay? Very, very, very loose. And I'm going to take a touch of brown and give them a hint of brown just here and there. We can come back to all this, you see, guys, later on. We can come back and we can finish up all these little small details. Okay, now some trees. I want to get some trees in here because I'm getting browned off now from painting buildings so much. I really have to get some tree done, some nice free kind of work. So some burnt umber and some yellow. Let's just try that. Yeah, that's not bad. I'll go with that. Tiny, tiny bit of turpentine. So some burnt umber, some cadmium yellow, and let's take a touch of cobalt. And I'm going to go along and dab some trees along the side of the house. And let's take a touch of black with a touch of burnt sienna. And I'm going to go up there with that and create some darker trees here and there. Okay. That's not bad, is it? I'm going to take my small flat brush, which I had the white on earlier, I'm going to give that a quick clean and take some of that dark colour, burnt umber and a bit of yellow, perhaps a touch of black, and go in here behind this one because it's quite dark in here, isn't it? There we go. That just covers that in. And let's just pull that away. We have a little bit over here, so let's create some trees in between these here, nice and gently. Okay, I might even create one or two up here, look. There we are. And now we do have another little house in here in the distance, I can see that, but I'm not going to put it in, I'm just going to leave. I'm going to leave this now as it is, just keep it nice and simple. Let me just work in a bit of burnt umber now just under that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this brush, give it a clean, or any other clean brush that you might have, and pick up some cadmium yellow, little naples, and a touch of white. And let's give these some light, okay? And the sun now again is coming from the right hand side, so I'm going to hit these on the right hand side, okay, with this brush. Can you see? So just here and there, create the curve of the tree, you see? And this is a lot of fun. And let's put a nice bright one just here. And then we have nice simple trees up in the distance. Now you could, if you wanted to, put a bit of blue, soft blue up into them as well, and that would help give it a bit of distance and more depth again. Okay, so that's what I'll do, just here and there, look, you see? That just pushes everything off into the distance. There we are, a little bit there. And it's just creating a little bit of texture up in the corner there, that's all. So how are we looking? It's coming on quite nice now, guys, isn't it? I might lighten those again, just to give it a real kick. I might just lighten those again. So I'll take the brush I just used, take a tiny bit of cobalt blue, some white, and a touch of red. So it's a nice violet kind of a colour. There we are. And you could even go further, believe it or not. Let's take some cadmium yellow and some white. And really go to town with the edges of these trees. So now we have a bit more light catching them. Also, you could put in a suggestion of some little tree trunks here and there. So a little bit of burnt umber and a little bit of black. And just a very loose suggestion of tree trunks kind of popping up here and there. Okay, does that make sense? And this is all very loose. I'm just being very kind of freehand. I'm just having a bit of fun with it, really. Now, I want to go along here and I want to put that in. There's like a wall going right across that. So some naples yellow, some cadmium red, and let's take a touch of blue. And let's just try that. I want to keep it subtle. Let's take a bit more naples yellow. Okay, so I want a nice kind of a light, a kind of a fawny grey type of a colour I know now on the picture, guys, it's quite dark and kind of, it's very yellowy almost, but I don't want to copy that exactly. I'm complementing my colours here now as I come down, so some of the colours that are in the sky I'm going to introduce into the painting as well, and that then is going to help me with my composition. So let's take a bit more of that yellow and just paint this right across now. Fill that in all the way across. You can use a bigger brush if you like for this. You don't have to use the same brushes as me. Let's take a bit of brown. Let's darken it slightly. And I'm being very thin with my colours now because it's early on. I want to build on top of these then later. So I'm just being very thin with this paint. Soften that together. There we go. Now, I suppose we want to be going up into this, won't we? So let's take a bit of white and a bit of Naples yellow and just create a ridge up on top of that. Just drag that across. And it's picking up the terracotta and all the colours. That's fine. That's exactly fine. That's creating, that in itself is creating some detail as well, you see. Okay, you understand? And we have a very dark line then, kind of creeping out here and there, like so. And then I'm going to put in some of these very kind of dark shadows on the pillars. We have some very strong pillars up there, don't we? Very strong colours on them. So I'm going to mix up a dark colour for that, with a lot of blue and a lot of red. And I'm going to go over there and just pull some of that down. And it's picking up the colour now that's already there, which is fine. I want that to happen. See? Just pulling them down like that, nice and simple. And we have a little bit of light in on the front of those. So let's just take some of that Naples yellow with white and let's just create a little light hitting the front of those pillars. There we go. Nice and simple. Now, I know you think they're kind of sitting there, aren't they, at the moment? But I'm going to soften them very slightly at the back of those and pull that in to the wall. And not only that, I'm going to then take my small flat brush with a little touch of burnt umber on it, and from here back I'm just going to soften some of that in, just on the right hand side. Okay, and that's just giving it a little bit of texture and a bit more definition as well. You see? So can you understand that now? So you can see now what I mean. Just a little more definition. We can add some lighter colour to that side of it over here. Let's just take a bit of cadmium yellow and some white. I know you think that's a strange colour, but look, there's a bit of sunlight catching it. Let's just pull a bit of it in just here and there, nice and free. Okay, that's it, that'll do it. And take a look how we're getting on, guys. We're looking pretty good now, aren't we? I think we'll call that part one. And in fact, what you could do actually, before I let you go, guys, I'm going to take my palette knife if I can find the damn thing around here somewhere. Let me see. There we go. Look, I'll use this one. I'll use this little knife and I'm just going to define the tops of those. And let's just take a bit of burnt umber on the corner of the knife like so, and just cut across the top of that. And just create a little bit of definition. And there, that's all we need to do. So there we are, guys. I hope you enjoyed that, part 1. I hope it wasn't too complicated for you, too finicky, but we have a lot of the kind of detailed work done in this background now. We can be nice and free with the rest of this and start really having fun with some shadows and some lights, okay, in part 2. But this is part 1. That was my main concern, I think, for the painting, because it looked like there was a lot of detail in it, but I've just kind of kept it nice and simple. So that's my impression of keeping something nice and simple. If you look at it and you think there's a lot of detail in it, just keep it simple. So that's my big worry kind of out of the way. I can kind of really start to have fun now with the rest of this painting. And the sky also, I was kind of a little bit curious about as to how I was going to approach the sky, what kind of colour, what kind of tone was I going to use. I think it looks okay. I think it works with the painting. It's warm, it's not cold. Which is what I like in a sky, a warm sky. So we did some nice little work there with the trees and stuff like that. So part 2 coming up, do not go anywhere. Part 2 is coming up and we have this big tower now cutting right through this building here. It'll be fun. Alright guys, so listen, thank you very, very much for watching, and thank you very much for supporting me as well on Patreon. I really appreciate that, guys. It's really helping a lot. So I will see you in part 2. Don't go anywhere.